the annual Stupidest Way to Die marathon. Welcome to a town so obsessed with corn and traditions that they've turned child endangerment into a spectator sport. Every Halloween, a creature named Sawtooth Jack, who looks like a scarecrow had a midlife crisis, wakes up in a cornfield and tries to waddle his way to the local church. The town's brilliant solution? Send every teenage boy in a 5-mile radius into a murderous frenzy to kill it before midnight. And the prize? If you survive the night and disembowel the monster, you get $25,000, a house, and a one-way ticket out of this nightmare. Oh, and you get to eat the candy hidden inside the monster's organs, because nothing says local hero like a mouthful of spleen-flavoured Snickers. The Legend of the Golden Boy. We kick things off in 1962. A group of boys in masks are out hunting, looking about as coordinated as a group of toddlers in a riot. One kid gets separated and, in a shocking twist for someone standing alone in a dark cornfield, gets absolutely wrecked by Jack. Enter Jim, the town's resident overachiever. Jim doesn't just kill the monster, he beats it to death with the kind of rage usually reserved for people who spoil movie endings. He grabs some gore-covered candy, the boys howl like they've actually accomplished something, and Jim gets his prizes. His younger brother Richie begs to go with him, but Jim hits him with a "love you bye" and peels out in his brand new car, leaving Richie in this dump. Fast forward a year. Sheriff Jerry, a man who clearly enjoys his job way too much, shows up at the school to remind the kids that if they don't kill the monster, the crops die. Basically, kill the scarecrow or starve, you little runts. The rebellion and a really bad date. Richie is tired of living in Jim's shadow, but he's forbidden from joining the run. A local bully named Riley makes fun of him for wanting to volunteer for a suicide mission, which leads to a fight because, apparently, hormones and sharp objects are the only things this town produces besides corn. Richie escapes the drama by ducking into a movie theatre where he meets Kelly, the new girl. They hit it off, but Kelly drops a truth bomb. She's not allowed at the Halloween dance because the town is as racist as it is superstitious. Richie, displaying the overconfidence of a 22-year-old with nothing to lose, promises he'll win the run and change the rules. Truly, the bar for romantic gestures in this town is on the floor. Richie goes home and tells his parents, Dan and Donna, that he's joining the run anyway. Dan responds with a classic Father of the Year move, a slap to the face. Naturally, Richie escapes through a window to smoke and pout. Meanwhile, out in the fields, a farmer is literally carving a pumpkin onto a scarecrow's head. This is the deadly monster, folks. It's a vegetable with a grudge. Lockdown and low stakes. The day before the run, Riley beats up Richie and steals his belt, a matching set he had with Jim. Richie tries to defend himself with a knife, but let's be real, he has the combat skills of a wet noodle. He then gets a letter from Jim telling him not to join the run. Richie decides the best response is to steal a car and leave, but Sheriff Jerry, who apparently has nothing better to do than stalk teenagers, knocks him out at the town border. Now we get to the Hunger Games portion of the evening. The parents lock their sons in their rooms for 3 days without food. The goal? Drive them into a starvation-induced murder psychosis. By the time Halloween night rolls around, these kids are ready to kill anything that moves, including each other. Richie wakes up, ignores his dad's pathetic attempt at a "let's talk about your future" speech, and heads out. He joins his buddies Bud, Charlie, and Mitch, who have decided to cheat by using a truck. It's a solid plan until a rival gang starts smashing the vehicle. They eventually make it to the cornfield, where Bud is having a full-blown panic attack because he's the only one who remembers that Sawtooth Jack actually kills people. The truck hits something, they stop, and, seeing candy on the ground, the boys immediately start eating it. Because sure, mystery candy in a dark field is definitely a safe snack. Right as the boys are stuffing their faces with floor candy, Sawtooth Jack decides he's had enough of the trespassers. In a matter of seconds, he turns Charlie and Bud into organic fertilizer. Mitch tries to be the hero, but he ends up joining them in the great cornfield in the sky. Richie, displaying the survival instincts the others lacked, chooses the runaway screaming tactic. He stumbles across Kelly, who is also out here breaking rules and probably regretting her life choices. They run into Bud, who turns out wasn't dead, he was just tactically napping. Bud sprints back to his house, but his parents lock the door and tell him to be a man because they really want that $25,000. Bud gets slaughtered on his own doorstep while a toddler watches through the window. Happy Halloween, kid. That's therapy for life. The butcher, the bully, and the bad news. Richie and Kelly decide they need more than a can-do attitude, so they break into Sheriff Jerry's house to steal a gun and some beer. Priorities, right? They also swipe a police car, because if you're going to break the law, you might as well do it in a vehicle with sirens. Meanwhile, downtown has devolved into The Purge, small town edition. The local teens have decided that the run is actually just an excuse to loot the butcher shop. When the butcher tries to protect his steaks, the boys beat him to death. Riley shows up to be a racist prick to Kelly, but Richie finally grows a backbone, beats the brakes off him, and takes his belt back. As they drive around, Kelly admits she burned down a barn once, valid, and Richie realizes that nobody has actually seen his brother Jim since he won. Kelly also mentions her parents are dead. This town's census must just be a list of people who haven't been murdered yet. The winner's circle is a graveyard. The duo follows a fake radio report into a trap set by Sheriff Jerry. They run into Sawtooth Jack, and Richie notices something horrifying. The monster is wearing Jim's belt. Before he can process that, Jerry shows up, insults Kelly's dead parents, and accidentally grazes her head with a bullet. Richie and Kelly escape, and we find out the horrifying truth. The winners aren't in Hollywood. Every year, the hero who kills the monster is sacrificed, and their body becomes the monster for the next year. Richie's mom, Donna, confirms this by showing him that she's been forging Jim's postcards the whole time. Then she decides she's done with the plot and self-deletes. Richie realizes that the town is literally recycling its children to keep the corn growing. Talk about a sustainable ecosystem. Family reunion with weapons. Richie and Kelly head to the church for the final showdown. They find Dan, who claims the parents are sworn to secrecy by the Harvesters Guild. Richie calls his dad a monster, which is fair. Suddenly, Sawtooth Jack, aka Zombie Jim, arrives. Richie tries to talk to him, but Riley shows up and shoots the monster. In a moment that's supposed to be tragic but is mostly just gross, Sawtooth Jack grabs Richie's hand and points the gun at his own head, begging to be put out of his misery. Richie pulls the trigger, the boys dive for the organ candy, and Richie feels, let's go with numb. At the victory party, Richie and Kelly share a dance and a kiss, ignoring the bigots. Kelly slips him a gun, and they decide to ditch this corn-obsessed cult once and for all. The cycle continues. Wait, never mind. Richie and Kelly try to drive out of town, but Sheriff Jerry is the ultimate Stage 5 clinger and chases them. Richie leads him into the cornfields and finally puts 2 bullets in the sheriff. Victory! Except, no. The farmer, the guy who actually builds the scarecrows, sneaks up, knocks Richie out, and buries him alive in the grave he already dug. Kelly manages to escape because the farmer is apparently a one murder at a time kind of guy. A year later, the farmer digs up Richie's rotting corpse to turn him into the new Sawtooth Jack. But Dan, Richie's dad, finally finds some courage. He kills the farmer, frees his monster son, and gives him the best fatherly advice he's had all movie. Burn the whole town down. Finally, a happy ending. And that wraps up another chaotic journey into the world of storytelling. If you enjoyed watching these characters make questionable life choices as much as I enjoyed talking about them, you're in the right place. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button to join the Chronicler Recap family. Why? Because life is already serious enough. You deserve a place where you can get the full story without the boring bits and with a healthy dose of humor instead. We're constantly dropping new recaps that keep the laughs coming and the plot moving, so don't miss out on the next one. But for now, whether the sun is just coming up or you're winding down for the evening, enjoy the rest of your day or night. Stay awesome, and I'll catch you in the next recap.